we will be seeing a 60% reimbursement for all new school construction for the next 25 years.
Yeah.
And the reason why that's so important is because we've seen new schools in so many other communities across this state, and Stamford and Norwalk have been left behind. And the reason why we have been left behind for so many years is because of a reimbursement rate that is not fair to our communities. And in Norwalk, if you build a brand new school, you get a 22.5% reimbursement. Stamford's, it's a little bit less. If you do a renovate as new, it's a 32.5% reimbursement in Norwalk, and in Stamford, it's a little bit less than that. No community, especially urban communities in this state, can build new schools or renovate new schools as new with a reimbursement rate that is so low. Without damaging your AAA bond rating, without not being able to do other priorities, or without being able to, without having to raise taxes to an unreasonable amount of money that people cannot afford. Just as an example, the new Norwalk High School at an 80% reimbursement rate, at fully funded now at $239 million, will save Norwalk taxpayers $139 million. And that is amazing. We have been talking in Norwalk for many years now about a new South Norwalk school, because we have what's called District 99 kids. And these District 99 kids don't have a home school, so they get placed wherever there's room, which is completely unfair. You have kids on buses sometimes for 30 to 45 minutes each way. You may have a kid in one house that goes to one school, elementary school, and then in the next house goes to a totally different elementary school. And that is just unfair and not right. So based on the legislation that we fought for, the new South Norwalk School, when it gets approved and all done on the city side, will be put on our priority list. And that school will save taxpayers, with a 6% reimbursement, about $25 million just for one school. And so we're talking about saving hundreds of millions of dollars over 25 years. This is going to be transformative to generations of students in both communities. And again, we have not been able to invest in our schools for such a long time, and that's why we wanted to make such a big deal about this announcement today. What we're going to do after today and in the future, Norwalk will announce a detailed 25-year plan soon, and we'll talk about the schools and how we're going to do that. But I want people to know this, that this is more than just fixing the furnace in schools. This is more than just replacing windows. We're talking about a comprehensive plan to renovate schools as new and build schools for our kids, for our teachers and students for the 21st century, to meet the needs and expectations of a global economy. And that's really what this is about. This is why the hard work was done. This is why we have so much support here. And this is why we want to make sure that we are doing what we can for our kids and for our communities going forward over the next 25 years.
I can vouch for the fact that Majority Leader Duff and Senator Miller were keeping up a drumbeat about this policy change from the very beginning of the session right to the signing of the bill, so that their advocacy about the equity of recognizing the needs in Norwalk and Stamford, the need for a more realistic level of school construction funding, and the need to sustain that level is something that they were persuasive on, that they were able to galvanize opinion within the legislature on, with the righteousness of their cause and the persistency of their action. So both of them deserve a tremendous amount of credit on this. Also, we know that Mayor Rilling celebrates this because of his commitment to the schools in Norwalk, and we know that Mayor Simmons herself was a strong and leading advocate for education while she served in the General Assembly. And of course now, as Mayor of Stamford, she will, of course, make good use of every penny that comes in to improve the city of Stamford. But it's important, I think, to acknowledge, I think as Senator Miller said earlier, that dedicated and inspiring teachers and principals are just so critical in the lifetime success of our children. But that dedication and that inspiration really has to be reflected in the school facilities and the school atmosphere in support of that vital mission. Because if not, children get the message that their education and their futures are not all that important. So if they are going to school in decrepit buildings, worn down buildings, buildings that have lasted long before their usable life, the message is, you're really not that essential. because we'll give you the minimum we have to do to meet the requirements, but you're really not a priority. And that is a message we cannot have in the state of Connecticut, because budgets tell you what societies value. Not lip service, not speeches, not proclamations, but budgets. Budgets tell you what you care about is what you're willing to spend money on. And we believe that an increased commitment to cities like Stamford and Norwalk by a higher rate of school construction, not only for the projects underway now, but sustainable projects for the next several decades, is an investment in the future of this state in an important way, and points out that we don't just say we care about education, we're going to put the state resources behind it.
And if you had told me about 2 months ago that Bob Duff, Senator Looney, and Senator Miller would be delivering this package to us, I would have said you're crazy. It's never going to happen. You know, unfortunately, and Caroline or Mayor Simmons, she experiences the same thing we do. People look at us as the Gold Coast, rich in property. So we seem to always get shortchanged. But now this is a game changer, because Senator Duff, Senator Looney, and Senator Miller, they recognize that, and they fight, and they are a powerful voice in Hartford, and when they talk, people listen. But again, you know, our children deserve a world-class education. There has not been a school built in Norwalk in 50 years. And the past 7 or 8 years, we've put together a plan. We've already built a new Ponus attached to the old Ponus. We're renovating Jefferson is new. As Senator Duff mentioned, we have plans to start a South Norwalk school so we can give the District 99 children a neighborhood school and a new Norwalk High School. All that in the past 7 or 8 years. And more to come. We have a 25-year plan like Stamford does. And it's going to cost us about $500 million to get it all done, or perhaps even more by that time.